Clarity. Aligning your actions with your values. I want you to pause and think about this. How many of you woke up today and you opened your phone, scrolled through your emails, maybe jumped into client calls, checked the MLS, maybe even you put out a fire or two already this morning? All before you ever thought about who you want to be today. That's the problem in our industry. We're busy grinding, we're busy moving, but are we aligned? Because here's the truth: when your actions don't align with your values, you'll always feel off. You know, no matter how much money you make, no how many deals you close, real estate is supposed to create freedom, right? Yet most agents are trapped. They're trapped in busyness. They're trapped and caught up in other people's expectations. They're trapped in chasing somebody else's definition of success. So today we're going to break that cycle. We're going to strip it down to clarity. Let me ask you this: what do you truly value? And are your daily actions honoring those values? And if not, what needs to change? Because the gap between who you say you are and how you actually live, that's where the burnout lives. That's where regret builds and builds and builds. And that's where too many careers die out way too early. Here's why clarity is the foundation. I'm going to make this simple. Clarity equals power. Confusion equals perilous. Think about buyers and sellers. They lose deals not because of price, not because of timing, because they lack the clarity of what they really want. You know, the same is true for you and me as a professional. You know, if you don't know your North Star, aka your values, you're always going to choose the next shiny object, the next squirrel, the next lead source, the next new trend that you see on TikTok. You know, values are not slogans. Values are the rules that you live by every single day. Let me give you an example. If one of your values is family, but your schedule has you running out the door before the kids even wake up and getting home after they're already in bed, you are living out of alignment. And eventually that disconnect will crush you. If one of your values is integrity, but you cut corners on contracts, or you pressure a client into a decision that they're not ready to make yet, um, you're breaking yourself from the inside out. Here's the harsh truth: most agents I meet are living someone else's script. They follow what the broker says. They copy what another top producer is doing. They chase volume. They chase awards or vanity metrics. But ask them to define what matters most, and you get silence from them. And you know what? Silence in this business is a dangerous thing. So let's do a little bit of work right now. Take out a sheet of paper, pen. Write down your top 5 values. Not 20, not 30, not a whole freaking paragraph, just 5. 5 top values. Let me give you a couple examples. Family. That's a top value. Freedom. Integrity. How about growth? Impact. Service. Legacy. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to circle the top 2. Those 2 that you'd fight for. Now, here's the gut check. Look at your calendar from last week. Did your schedule reflect those values? Or did it betray them? Because your calendar never lies. If it's not in your calendar, it didn't happen. It's not just like if it's not in your CRM, it didn't happen. Your actions reveal your values. If you say family is number 1, but you worked 70 hours last week and you missed your kid's game, then family isn't number 1. Business is. If you say growth matters, but you haven't read a book, you haven't hired a coach or trained in the last 6 months, then growth isn't a value, it's a wish. This is where people squirm, but you've got to own the truth before you can change it, because what you don't acknowledge, you cannot change. Aligning your actions with your values. So how do we close that gap? How do we align actions with values in real estate? First, define success for you, not your broker, not for Instagram posts, not the guy across town who's closing 100 deals a year. What does your version of success look like? Step number 2, build your business model around your values. If freedom is your value, then stop building a business that's got you chained to your phone or the computer 24/7. Learn to leverage. Build a team. Automate. If service is your value, then stop cutting clients loose after closing, because that is no way in hell service. Build a relationship model. Create touch points. Stay present. If family is your value, then you need to structure your calendar around them first. It's non-negotiable. Everything else fills in around it. Step 3. Step 3 is you need to guard your time like your life and your business depend on it, because it does. Time is the most honest reflection of your values. Let me say this again. If your values aren't on your calendar, they do not exist. Let's talk about the alignment audit. Take your top two values from earlier and write down 3 daily or weekly actions that you do that prove them. For example, your value is family. And the action should be, family dinner 4 nights a week, phone off. If your value is integrity, then the action should be never push a client, always educate. If your value is growth, then the action is 30 minutes of personal development daily. Now here's the test. Look at your calendar. Can you find those actions in your current routine? If not, you've got homework to do. Living with clarity. When you align your actions with your values, 3 things happen. You feel peace because you're not living a double life anymore. You gain power because people trust you more because you're consistent. You create a legacy. 3, because your career becomes more than transactions. It becomes a reflection of who you really are. This industry, it doesn't need more agents just chasing numbers. It needs more leaders with clarity. Leaders who know who they are. Leaders who know what they stand for. And leaders who are not afraid to align their business to that truth. So this morning, I'm going to leave you with this. At the end of your career, nobody's going to remember how many houses you sold. They're not. They're just not going to remember that. They will remember who you were while you sold them and who you touched. Clarity, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity. Values are not words on paper. They're the foundation of your life. And alignment is not someday. Alignment is today. So your job now is simple. Decide what matters. Align your actions and live without regret, because the biggest mistake you can make is to win in real estate but lose yourself in the process. Peace.